The Old West was built on violence, and nothing screamed louder than the rifles that dominated its dust and blood. Forget the pistol duels of movies. Real cowboys and killers wielded weapons so brutal, their reputations traveled faster than the bullets they fired. They weren't elegant. They weren't merciful. They were thunderous machines of brass and steel. Spitting death with every shot. This wasn't Hollywood fantasy. This was fear made steel. And in this video, we uncover the rifles that ruled the West with raw intimidation. Number 7, Springfield Trapdoor Rifle. You hold 9 pounds of government surplus steel, and every ounce screams that this rifle was never meant for horseback. The year is 1873. America's army is modernizing fast, dumping thousands of single-shot rifles onto a frontier market, hungry for anything that shoots. Cowboys, broke and desperate, pick through Uncle Sam's leftovers like vultures on a battlefield. These trapdoors represent the dying gasp of an old era when soldiers fought in lines and battles moved at the pace of marching feet. That hinged breech, the trapdoor, represents a quantum leap from muzzle-loading muskets. You snap it open, slide in a massive .45-70 cartridge, and suddenly you're wielding the same firepower that armed entire regiments. The brass case ejects cleanly. No ramrod, no powder horn, no fumbling with percussion caps in the rain. Just raw, industrial killing power, wrapped in government-issue walnut and steel. The rifle demands respect through sheer mass and authority. Each shot announces itself with the voice of thunder. But try managing this beast from the back of a spooked Mustang, chasing strays through mesquite brush. The 32-inch barrel catches on everything. Saddle horn, your leg, low-hanging branches that seem to grab it like skeletal fingers. At 9 pounds unloaded, it's an anvil in your scabbard, throwing off your horse's balance on uneven ground. The .45-70 cartridge hits like Thor's hammer, but the recoil nearly dismounts you, and the muzzle flash reveals your position to every hostile within miles. This is a soldier's rifle, designed for men who fight on foot in disciplined volleys, not cowboys who live by mobility and stealth. The trapdoor became the rifle you carried when you couldn't afford better, which described most working cowboys in the cash-poor frontier economy. Thousands ended up in cowboy hands, not because they wanted it, but because $20 was $20, and a rifle beat no rifle when wolves circled the herd. It was honest work for an honest wage, reliable, powerful, and utterly graceless. Like the men who carried it, the Springfield got the job done, one thunderous shot at a time. Today, collectors prize its brutal simplicity and historical significance. But cowboys knew the bitter truth. Sometimes survival means settling for good enough when great costs too much. While cavalry troopers made do with army surplus, professional hunters demanded something that could kill at impossible distances. If these gritty realities of frontier life fascinate you, give this video a quick like. It tells us you want more stories from the rough and tumble days of the Wild West. And if you're just discovering our channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got plenty more legends, myths, and deadly machines to uncover together. Number 6, Sharp's Big 50. You peer down the octagonal barrel of a rifle that Native Americans called shoots today, kills tomorrow, because that's how far it could reach into the future. The buffalo herds stretch to the horizon like a brown ocean. It's 1874, and the industrial appetite of America demands hides, meat, and bones. Professional hunters follow the herds with wagons full of ammunition and dreams of easy money. But killing a 2,000-pound bison requires more than dreams. It requires precision engineering capable of delivering death across distances that challenge human perception. The Sharps doesn't just fire, it delivers divine judgment with mechanical perfection. That massive .50-90 cartridge, propelled by up to 100 grains of black powder, creates a muzzle blast that sounds like the world splitting at its seams. The falling block action locks up tight as a bank vault, containing pressures that would destroy lesser mechanisms. The heavy octagonal barrel dissipates heat and stabilizes every shot with scientific precision. At 1,000 yards, you can split a playing card if your nerve holds steady. At 500, you can drop a charging buffalo bull with surgical precision, watching it collapse before the sound reaches your ears. Perfection demands sacrifice, and the Big 50 extracts its price in sweat and pain. This rifle weighs as much as a small anvil and kicks like an angry mule with a personal grudge. The single-shot action leaves you naked after each trigger pull. Pray your first shot finds its mark, because reloading under pressure becomes a ritual of fumbling fingers and racing heartbeats when something with claws is closing distance. Loading those massive cartridges requires the precision of a watchmaker and the steady hands of a surgeon. It's a sniper's dream and a cavalryman's nightmare, demanding skills that separate true marksmen from those who merely wish they were. Bill Tillman killed 7,500 buffalo with his old reliable, earning legendary status among professional hunters. The Sharps didn't just harvest animals, it harvested the West itself, clearing the plains of the great herds that sustained Native American civilization for countless generations. Cowboys carried them for long-range predator control and emergency meat procurement, but few could afford the specialized ammunition or handle the physical punishment each shot delivered. The rifle that could kill anything at any distance became too specialized for the men who needed to kill everything at every distance. Today, it represents the pinnacle of single-shot accuracy, beautiful, deadly, and absolutely unforgiving. But what if you needed reliability over precision? Sometimes the simplest machines prove the most indestructible. Number 5, Remington rolling block. You watch the breech block roll into position like a bank vault closing and understand why this rifle survived in 40 countries while prettier weapons gathered dust in forgotten armories. It's 1867. And the world hungers for American innovation. Remington's engineers have a seemingly impossible problem. Create a rifle so simple a conscript can use it drunk, so strong it won't break in a monsoon, and so cheap an army can afford thousands. The rolling block is their answer. Brutal functionality dressed in unpretentious wood and steel. No frills, no apologies, just relentless mechanical honesty. The genius lies in its primitive elegance that would make a medieval craftsman weep with envy. A massive steel block pivots on a single pin, sealing the chamber like a medieval castle gate slamming shut. No delicate springs waiting to break, no finicky magazines to jam with sand, no complicated timing sequences that fail when you need them most. You cock the hammer, roll the block down, insert a cartridge, close the action. The rifle is ready to kill with the simplicity of an anvil and the reliability of sunrise. The system handles black powder pressures that would shatter lesser actions, chambering everything from .22 rimfire for squirrels to 50-70 government for grizzlies. Simplicity becomes limitation when speed matters more than strength. And the frontier demanded both. While your enemy empties a Winchester in 5 seconds, you're performing the single-shot ritual. Extract the smoking case, fumble for fresh ammunition, reload, close the action, aim, and fire. The heavy recoil of military cartridges punishes your shoulder after a dozen rounds, creating a flinch that ruins accuracy when precision matters most. In close combat, this rifle transforms you into easy prey for anyone carrying repeating firepower. It's a marksman's tool in a gunfighter's world, demanding skills and patience that not every cowboy possessed. Buffalo Bill owned serial number 3, turning this workhorse into a collector's treasure. But working cowboys appreciated its honesty more than its pedigree or famous connections. When desert sand jammed complex mechanisms, the rolling block kept firing. When winter cold froze delicate springs, the rolling block kept firing. When summer heat expanded metal parts beyond their tolerances, the rolling block kept firing. It wasn't romantic, but romance doesn't survive gunfights or pay for cattle feed. Today, its simple strength reminds us that sometimes the best machine is the one that never breaks, never complains, and never fails when failure means death. The rolling block was the rifle equivalent of an old cowboy, scarred, weathered, but absolutely dependable. While single-shot rifles demanded precision, The future belonged to those who understood that rapid fire changes everything. Number 4. Winchester Model, 1866. Yellow Boy. You work the gleaming brass lever and feel history pivot beneath your palm. This is the moment the frontier discovered the deadly rhythm of repeating fire. The Civil War's over, and America bleeds westward like a wounded giant seeking redemption. Veterans carry memories of Henry rifles spitting endless streams of lead, breaking Confederate charges with walls of continuous gunfire. Winchester takes those hard-won lessons and forges them into brass and steel. A rifle that can survive frontier conditions while delivering the rapid firepower that won the bloodiest war in American history. That brass receiver isn't just beautiful, it's revolutionary engineering disguised as craftsmanship. The side-loading gate eliminates the Henry's clumsy muzzle-loading system that left shooters vulnerable while reloading. 15 rounds of .44 rimfire nest in the tubular magazine like sleeping serpents, ready to strike repeatedly without mercy. The lever action cycles smooth as silk through butter, ejecting spent cases and chambering fresh death faster than any single shot can reload. For the first time in human history, a horseman can deliver sustained firepower without dismounting, transforming cavalry tactics and making obsolete centuries of mounted warfare doctrine. Beauty conceals weakness, like makeup hiding scars. The .44 rimfire cartridge whispers where later rounds scream with authority. Against determined enemies or dangerous game, it lacks the bone-crushing authority of military cartridges, requiring precise shot placement when adrenaline makes precision nearly impossible. The brass frame, while corrosion-resistant and beautiful, bends under heavy use like gold jewelry subjected to blacksmith's work. It's a gentleman's rifle in a world that demanded brutes, elegant, sophisticated, but lacking the raw power needed for life or death encounters. Native Americans called it Yellow Boy with genuine respect, but they learned to fear its steel-framed descendants more. The 1866 bridged two worlds, the age of single-shot uncertainty and the era of lever-action confidence. Cowboys discovered they could protect herds, fight off rustlers, and hunt game with the same fluid motion that once belonged only to dreams. It taught an entire generation that firepower multiplied equals survival multiplied, changing how men thought about fighting and dying. Though Winchester built better rifles, none looked more beautiful, doing the deadly work of taming the West. The Yellow Boy was the gun that taught cowboys to think in magazines rather than single shots, transforming individual gunfighters into one-man armies. Today, its brass gleam still catches the eye, reminding us that sometimes beauty and death walk hand in hand across history. But the true revolution began with a rifle that transformed impossible dreams into brass and lever-action reality. Number 3. Henry Rifle. You hold the rifle that Confederate soldiers cursed as that damn Yankee gun you load on Sunday and shoot all week, and realize they weren't exaggerating about its revolutionary capabilities. It's 1860, and warfare moves at the glacial speed of ramrods and percussion caps. Most soldiers carry single-shot muskets that fire once, then transform their owners into sitting ducks while they fumble through the deadly ritual of reloading. Benjamin Tyler, Henry has a radically different vision. What if one man could deliver the firepower of 15 soldiers without the vulnerability of constant reloading? The Henry doesn't just shoot fast. It redefines what fast means in the context of 19th century warfare. 15 rounds of .44 rimfire ammunition lie ready in the tubular magazine, like bullets in a prayer wheel. Work the brass lever, and spring-loaded mechanisms perform a deadly ballet of mechanical precision. Extract the spent case, cock the hammer, feed a fresh cartridge, chamber it perfectly. You can empty the magazine in 15 seconds, filling the air with lead, while enemies fumble to reload their single shots. It's like bringing a machine gun to a musket fight, technological superiority that borders on supernatural to anyone witnessing it for the first time. Revolutionary design demands revolutionary compromises, and the Henry extracted its price in practical limitations. Loading requires pushing cartridges into the magazine from the muzzle. Awkward when someone's shooting at you, and dangerous when hostile fire forces you to expose yourself. The .44 rimfire lacks the bone-crushing authority of military cartridges, wounding where it should kill outright, and sometimes failing to penetrate heavy clothing or equipment. That beautiful brass frame looks magnificent and resists corrosion, but lacks the strength for heavy use that frontier conditions demanded. It's the future arriving before the technology fully matured. Brilliant, but fragile. Revolutionary, but imperfect. Union cavalry units wielded Henrys like thunderbolts, breaking Confederate charges with walls of continuous fire that seemed to come from the gods themselves. After the war, surplus rifles followed veterans west, where cowboys learned that rapid fire beats accurate fire when survival's on the line, and multiple threats close simultaneously. The Henry proved that American innovation could transform warfare itself, making individual soldiers as deadly as entire squads. It wasn't perfect, but it was prolific, and proliferation changes history more than perfection. Every lever-action rifle that followed owes its existence to Henry's brass-framed dream of endless firepower. Today, collectors treasure them as mechanical poetry, beautiful, innovative, and absolutely revolutionary in their impact on American destiny. While the Henry proved repeating rifles could work, true perfection required combining the best of two worlds. Pretty wild, right? The guns we picture in cowboy movies weren't always the guns cowboys actually carried. What do you think? Does Hollywood ruin the legend or make it bigger than life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take, and you might see your comment featured in a future episode. And of course, hit subscribe to join our community of Frontier fans. There's so much more coming. Number 2, Winchester Model, 1892. You slide the same cartridge into your rifle and revolver and suddenly understand why cowboys called this combination the perfect partnership. Two weapons sharing one supply chain. It's 1892, and the frontier is closing like a book reaching its final chapters. Cowboys need rifles that match their evolved understanding of survival. Lighter, faster, more reliable than earlier designs that reflected cruder manufacturing techniques. John Moses Browning delivers a masterpiece of engineering that makes older rifles look like blacksmith experiments conducted in barn workshops. The 1892 achieves what seemed mechanically impossible. A rifle stronger than the legendary 1873, but lighter and handier in actual field conditions. Browning's genius lies in the microscopic details that separate good from great. Smoother lever action that cycles like silk, improved timing that prevents jams, better metallurgy that handles modern smokeless powder pressures. Chambered in revolver cartridges like 4440, 3840, and 3220, it creates ammunition synergy that revolutionizes frontier logistics. Your Colt feeds from the same box as your Winchester. One supply train, one inventory, one type of brass case to reload around the campfire when civilization feels 1,000 miles away. Timing cursed this mechanical masterpiece with bitter irony. By 1892, the Wild West was becoming the Mild West, transformed by railroads, telegraph lines, and federal law enforcement. Barbed wire replaced open range. Courts replaced vigilante justice. Law replaced the gun as the final arbiter of disputes. The perfect cowboy rifle arrived just as cowboys were becoming extinct, replaced by ranch hands who punched time clocks rather than cattle. It was a Formula One race car delivered to a world-building highways for family sedans. Technically superior, but historically irrelevant. Hollywood adopted the 1892 as the definitive Western rifle because it looked authentic while being reliable enough for movie work. John Wayne carried one in dozens of films, making it more famous than it ever was during its actual era. Chuck Connors made it immortal in The Rifleman, demonstrating rapid-fire techniques that real cowboys rarely needed. It looked period correct while functioning flawlessly under the demanding conditions of film production. Today, cowboy action shooters prize its smooth operation and authentic feel, keeping alive skills that once meant survival. The 1892 represents what the cowboy rifle could have become if the West had stayed wild. Mechanical perfection, delivered too late to matter historically, but just in time to become cinematically immortal. But before perfection, there was revolution, and no rifle revolutionized the American frontier more completely than the one that earned the ultimate nickname. Number 1, Winchester Model, 1873. You cradle the rifle that 720,000 Americans trusted with their lives, and feel the weight of the weapon that literally won the West through superior engineering and relentless reliability. It's 1873, and America stands at the crossroads between wilderness and civilization, balanced on the knife's edge between savagery and settlement. The frontier demands a rifle that can hunt deer at dawn, fight rustlers at noon, and defend homesteads at midnight, all while never failing when failure means death. Winchester's answer becomes the most successful rifle in American history, defining an entire era of expansion. The 1873 achieves perfect balance between power and practicality through revolutionary design innovations. The steel frame provides strength the brass 1866 lacked, handling the increased pressures of centerfire cartridges without bending or cracking. The 4440 cartridge hits harder than rimfire rounds, but cycles smoothly through the action without jamming or misfiring. 15 rounds lie ready in the magazine, like sleeping soldiers awaiting orders. The lever works like silk through butter, feeding cartridges with mechanical precision that borders on the supernatural. It's light enough for all-day carry, powerful enough to stop a man or a bear, and reliable enough to stake your life on when stakes couldn't be higher. Success breeds imitation and opposition in equal measure. As Winchester 1873s spread across the frontier like mechanical wildfire, so did knowledge of their limitations among those who faced them. Experienced gunfighters learned to count shots, waiting for that deadly pause when the magazine emptied and owners became vulnerable. The 4440, while effective against most threats, lacked the bone-shattering authority of big-bore single shots when facing dangerous game or determined enemies. It was the best compromise in a world that sometimes demanded extremes rather than balanced solutions. Billy the Kid carried one into legend. So did Butch Cassidy, Buffalo Bill, and the Texas Rangers, who brought law to lawless lands. It armed both sides of every conflict, proving its universal appeal and mechanical superiority. Winchester's marketing boldly claimed it was the gun that won the West. For once in advertising history, the hype matched reality. More than a rifle, it became the symbol of American expansion itself, the tool that transformed wilderness into civilization, one lever action at a time. Today, seeing a Winchester 1873 is like touching the DNA of American destiny itself. It didn't just win the West, it became the West, defining American character through mechanical excellence and unwavering reliability, when reliability meant everything. Thanks for riding along on this journey through the West's deadliest rifles. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and share this video with your fellow history buffs. It helps spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because next time we're tackling 11 myths about the Wild West's most famous revolver you probably still believe. You'll be shocked at how many of these myths are still alive today, and we're setting the record straight.